But where should we study? Now, it's quite interesting that there are so many studies that we cover within psychology, A-level, that looks at the best place to study. And one of them was carried out in a block of flats. People were either taught information in a basement flat and they recalled it in there, and they did really well. Others learned in the basement flat and recalled on the 5th floor. They didn't do as well. So it shows that learning in the same environment to where you recall enables your learning. But not everybody can learn in the Bernardine Hall, and that's frustrating. However, there was a third group that they learned on the basement floor, they recalled on the 5th floor, but they were told to imagine being back in that basement. They did almost as well as the group that recalled and learned in the basement. So what does that mean? It means we need to keep the learning and the recall environment similar. We are not saying you have to paint your house, your room, the same colour as the Bernardine Hall, unless you really want to. But how we use that knowledge, you need to create the exam atmosphere. You need to be making sure that it's not in your bedroom. The reason it shouldn't be in your bedroom is that is the rest, that's your recuperation. But we totally appreciate that not everybody's house is a mansion, and not everybody has that quiet space that is available in the common household within the dining room or the living room. So if it is in the bedroom, make sure that there isn't those distractions, but then you cover up the work at the end of the day. You get a blanket to cover over the work. So subconsciously, psychologically, you know it's time to finish work. You won't be waking up and the first thing you see is the work. So that's just an advice for the bedroom. You do, wherever you work, bedroom, table, or kitchen table, make sure that it is clear and that it has good lighting. And most importantly, no music and no mobile phone. Students react when we tell them this. Students will always say, I work better with music. That is unfortunately a lie. Students work happier with music. It means that work is hard. If I have music, I work happier without music. But I don't work better. We need to think in the exam hall, unless it is part of the music GCSE or A-level, unless I'm listening to music within that part of the exam, I'm not going to be listening to music. I won't have my mobile phone on the side. So therefore, it's not transferable to the exam requirement. Students dislike us saying that, but trust me, it doesn't transfer well. The reason that we say no phone is the phone is a distraction. The phone has Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, Insta, whatever we are into. And so therefore, having the mobile phone, hearing it ping along, it is too tempting to just pick up the phone and get lost in that. So do be aware that making sure that the phone stays downstairs and away from you so it's not there for temptation. Do check that students aren't just giving you the phone cover so it looks like they're giving you their phone, but they have it. It's something that students need to know. It would be helpful if students actually share with each other when they're revising to make sure that any important chat doesn't go on during that time. And then the phone is there during the rest, during the recuperation, and as a reward for carrying out that information. So that links us then to good health and well-being. In St Bernard's, we like to educate the whole person. That's not just educating the brain in terms of knowledge, that's educating them in terms of how best to take care of themselves and how best to look after themselves emotionally, spiritually. And so this next session is to explain these points to you. And I've got them in this order here, to be making sure that good sleep is important. Sleep, we cannot underestimate the importance of sleep. This is not just talking to students here, but parents as well. That there is so much evidence to show that a lack of sleep leads to a negative impact, not just on our cognitive, on our learning ability, but our emotional state too. A lack of sleep is directly as well as indirectly linked to physical health, social and emotional health, and academic work. So, how much sleep should a student get? So many students are so surprised when I show them this. This is the lifespan of sleep. And actually, we sleep, babies sleep most of the time. They have so much growing to do physically, and the REM sleep, the dream sleep, is about the brain development. As we get older, we have less and less of that. But where students are in year 11 and 13 now is they should be getting 8 to 9 hours of sleep each night. What's interesting is the less sleep they have, that will have a knock-on effect. You may also want to look at your own and to try and work out how much sleep you should be getting. And that might be very advisable for you to consider that too. But I do want to explain to you as well, there is a difference between teenagers and adults. As we get older, when we want to sleep changes almost back to when we were children. It's why grandparents want to go to sleep really early and get up really early. Teenagers, very different. Their whole sleep changes and are what's called sleep delay. Your son or your daughter says they are not tired at 11 o'clock at night because the melanin, the hormone that they have that enables them to get to sleep, hasn't started developing, hasn't started progressing yet. As adults, it actually starts at about 8, 9 o'clock in the evening. It's why we're tired at 11 o'clock at night. What also changes and affects it though is the use of blue light. And blue light comes from mobile phones, TVs, computer screens. So the later we stay on our phones, we watch TV, we use computers, the melatonin we have in our body is suppressed, which means we're not going to get to sleep. This means that we need to avoid tech lights in the bedroom or phones anywhere after 10 o'clock at night. And so this is why we tell students they should not be studying after 10 o'clock, because they won't enable their brain to function to be able to set themselves for sleep, which is why they're not able to go to sleep. So many students will say, but I sleep better with the TV on going to sleep. I sleep better that way. No, it's actually a bad habit that students and adults get ourselves in. So therefore, it's not right for us. What is also important is carrying out exercise, making sure that we are exercising. It boosts our memory. it improves our concentration. These two pictures are images, drawn images of brain scans that have taken place after sitting quietly before taking a test, but then a 20-minute walk before the test. And what we see is that the brain is actually more active after exercise than when we just sit and relax. So do make sure that we don't forget to exercise. We may think, I haven't got time to exercise. Well, going for a walk, listen to a podcast, okay? Listen to a webinar as you're going for a walk is a way that you could be revising as well as exercising. And not just for students, but for adults too, is that exercise is the most transformative thing that a person can do for their brain today. No matter what our age, it increases focus and concentration. It increases the working of the hippocampus, which is where we store memories. So it helps with work and revision. It also releases endorphins. These are neurotransmitters that make us feel good. It might be cold out there, but trust me, going for a jog, even for a brisk walk around the block for 20 minutes, will make you feel better. That's obviously going to improve your learning, because our amygdala is where we feel emotion, is very close to the hippocampus, where we learn. If we feel good, we learn better. If we are upset, our amygdala is functioning in a different way. We can't store memories. But particularly for us, like myself, that's getting a little beyond our teenage years, actually exercise, there's evidence to help prevent and treat dementia. I will on here put a link to a TED Talk that explains all of this to you so that you can, in your own time, wanting to do that.